my name is Jared, and today I'm going to transform you from an average public speaker into someone who has absolute power and authority every time you open your mouth. Are you ready? Let's go!
All right, this one's a winner. We're geared up, ready to go.
Alright, today I'm going to give you my top 5 tips to be the greatest version of your public speaking self. And if you stick it out to the end of the video, I'm going to give you an extra pro tip for what to do right before you give your speech so that you'll be more articulate and absolutely feel ready. Let's jump right into it. Here's number 1. You're going to want to keep it light. That means no negativity. It's so hard to connect with somebody who is negative. You know the person I'm talking about, the constant complainer. It's not engaging for very long, and no one leaves a negative conversation like that with a sense of trust in the person. That's just human psychology. We naturally understand that negativity is contagious. That includes sarcasm, complaining, it's all viral misery. And just like someone who is physically ill, we tend to try and distance ourselves from those who are constantly negative. You may not think of it right away, but this also includes blame. I hope you heard me, debaters. I said blame. This poses an interesting challenge for you especially, because let's say you do not take the affirmative position in a debate. What do? You spin. It's what politicians do all the time, and with some practice, you can too. Spin the concept to the positive. Let's say you're debating about something that is like a no-brainer. Oil spilling into the ocean, let's say. That's a no-brainer issue. Don't take the affirmative on that, whoa, whatever. So instead of saying something like, these people are awful, we hate them, try spinning the script instead by saying, imagine a world where we have crystal clear oceans, free from pollution, clean water for everyone. This ideal, perfect world ideology. And then use that as the foundation for your argument. It's a much more defensible position. It just is. Because in this way, you aren't anti or against something, you're pro, you're for something. You have a clear goal, something that you're working toward. This is a life lesson I want for you in anything. Job, career, school, relationship, whatever. That you should never leave something because that's an aimless pursuit. You should instead go toward something else. So you don't like your job? Fine. That's fine. You don't have to stay, but I guarantee you, you will be more successful, more happy, that when you leave, if you leave to pursue something else rather than just leaving. Being positive means having a happy attitude. People like people who are happy. That means you should try smiling. Another key component of keeping things light is to incorporate humor when possible. An easy way that I've found to set a light tone is to incorporate humor into your hook. Some people call this the attention getter at the beginning of your speech. Tell them a joke. They'll be laughing, you'll be smiling, and you'll have their attention. And it will make the rest of the speech go that much easier. All right, here's number 2, eliminate verbal pauses. Most of you have already heard this one before, but it doesn't hurt to reiterate. You know what I'm talking about. Cut that out. Let's be real, if you have a bunch of these, it's because you haven't practiced. Look at me. Did you practice? Did you? I didn't think so. Having verbal pauses shows you lack confidence. It lowers the audience's opinion of you the more that you do it, because they assume that you're thinking about these ideas for the first time. And I know that's not true. You know that's not true. You've probably pored over the script, over the speech. I bet you have poured hours and hours and hours over it. But in order for your point to come across, and for you to sound like you have given this some thought, you've got to cut those out. You'll sound smarter, and it'll sound like you've actually given this some thought beforehand. So what do you do instead of those verbal pauses, especially when you need to transition between ideas or bullet points? My suggestion? Silence. Silence is not a bad thing at all, although some people think it is. I'm going to tell you something that I don't think a lot of people emphasize, but it is true. Silence is such a powerful tool because it creates variety in your speech. It allows your audience space to think about what you've said, and when used strategically, it can make a larger impact than anything you could have said in the same amount of time. That's the power of silence. So the next time that you are feeling a little dry in your mouth and you feel like you need to reset, or you need to take a moment to catch your breath or transition between points, take a second, take a beat, close your mouth, use silence, and then use that to transition into your next point. It's that easy. Here's number 3, engage with your audience. Now, a lot of people think that engaging means staring. Don't do that. It's creepy. Engaging with your audience doesn't mean you have to stare at them. I sing a lot, and I don't make eye contact with a single person in the audience, but I do look up. When you do that, it opens up your face. They can read your facial expressions, your nonverbal, language, and they can also see your eyes, which will help them to trust you and will help them to engage with you. Engaging is just simply making a connection. You have to make a connection with your audience. And so there's a lot of strategies to accomplish this, but it all boils down to just a couple of things if you really want to engage with your audience and make a personal connection with the people in the room. And I like to condense this into 2 points. They are the essence of engaging with anyone, and they are honesty and authenticity. People want to be able to trust you, and part of that is making sure you are honest, that you're real, and that they can understand you. If they can understand your why you're doing things, why you think the way that you think, then it will be that much easier for them to trust you. And if they trust you, they'll engage with you. They'll make a personal connection with what you're saying. That's all there is to it. Here we go. This is number 4, register and timbre. I could probably do a whole video diving deep into this one tip, and maybe I will in the future. Maybe there will be a little pop-up that pops up, but we'll get the short version for now. And you can just ask questions about this in the comments later if you have any. We do associate depth as far as the voice with power and authority. Rich, smooth, warm is your goal. And the easy way to achieve this is to speak in the heaviest place of your voice. Not through your nose,
Not in the back of your throat.
you want to feel it deep in your chest. But it's not enough to just speak low. It's not necessarily about pitch the entire time. You need variety in your pitch. It cannot be monotone. The same is true of volume. It can sometimes be just as powerful to be loud as it is to be soft. You need to keep variety in everything to keep it interesting. And so long as you're conscious about the grounding in your voice, the warmth and the richest part of it, you can add variety of pitch and volume on top of that. No problem. So let's recap. We talked about keeping it light by putting a positive spin on anything. Then we talked about being aware of your verbal pauses, cutting out those ums and uhs and replacing them with silence. Then we talked about engaging with your audience by being honest and authentic. Then controlling your voice's register and timbre to be full and rich with all the variety and interest you can muster. If you've got any questions about what we've covered, any of those topics, right now might be a good time to jump down in the comments and type them out. Just ask your question. I personally respond to every comment I get, so you're not going to bother me with your questions. I've been involved in everything from cross-sex to pantomime, and I think most forensics tournaments don't even do anymore. Anyway, there's your 4 tips, and here's your last one. Number 5, pacing. The most fundamental aspect of pacing in public speaking is the tempo of your words. How quickly are you saying things? Too fast, and no one will be able to follow what you're saying for very long because they'll just get so worn out listening to all those words. Yikes!
Too slow. And after a while, they might just get so bored they fall asleep.
Pacing isn't just about the tempo of your words, but also the tempo of your speech as a whole. Here's a pro tip. Don't be afraid to wrap up your point or your speech before you thought you would. Always read the room. Read your audience. Do they already agree with the point you're making? What's the mood? The atmosphere? If your judges or your audience has been sitting there for 8 hours, like the last round of a competition, the final round, and you can beat quickly, but you'll have some extra time at the end, just wrap it up. Everyone will thank you for it. You have to always be thinking about what your audience needs and then delivering that to them. This ties in a little bit with engaging with your audience, because if you're engaged with them and they're engaged with you, you'll be able to sense the mood and understand what they need. So back to pacing, it's also about going on a clear journey across the whole speech, a beginning to end pacing. There is a clear focal point or climax in the speech. There is a rising action and then a falling action. If you take your audience with you on a journey that is well paced from beginning to end, they will leave feeling fulfilled. And that's really what you want. All right, you made it to the end. You got all 5 tips for making your next public speaking event infinitely better. So, as promised, here's your bonus public speaking tip. And it's not something that even the most seasoned speakers think of. Speakers, debaters, only the best know to take this seriously before they speak. Vocal warm-ups. Now, if you're a musician, you're going to know all about the warm-up already. The thing I want you to realize is that if you are a speaker, you are a vocal athlete. Your speech, if done well, is going to be explosive, physical, and demanding on you and on your voice. So, if you do anything like that, let's say if you were in a sport of some kind, right? Anything else that you do is active, you need to warm up so that you can perform your best to the best of your physical and mental ability, and so that you don't hurt yourself in the process. So here's the simple version of my speaking warm-up that I do every time I have to get up in front of an audience. So just right before you take the podium or right before you grab the mic, here's what you do. You warm up the body first. So what I like to do is just drop my arms and shake them out and release all the tension. Sometimes I put them up above my head and I take some warm air in and I sigh it out on kind of like I'm yawning. And then the next, oh man, that got me tired a little bit. The next thing I do is I want to warm up the lips by going ba 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 ba. And so it can be pitched like I just did, it could be sing-songy on pitch, or it could just be whatever's comfortablest in your voice, whatever is in the middle of your voice, just to get the lips moving. Ba 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 ba. And then I want to get the tongue moving. La 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 la. And that's all pitched too, or not, either way, it doesn't really matter. But as long as you get the tongue, la la la, and the lips, ba ba ba, moving, while having the body engaged, that's all you need. Then get the pitch going. So I'm going to siren, low to high, high to low. Right? So especially what you're going to want to do for that is it activates all of your voice, the entirety, all of the variety as far as pitch is concerned. So especially for guys, you're going to want to go over your break. And some of you are going to have harder breaks than that. But as long as you get up over the break in your voice, then that's going to allow you to get up over it when you're speaking also. It activates that extra, something in your voice. So there's your 20-second warm-up for how to get your mind and body ready to perform. Hey, if you never hear it from someone else, hear it from me right now when I say, you can do this. I believe in you, and you are going to crush it. If you liked what I had to say, don't forget to like this video before you go. And of course, if you didn't like it, give me the thumbs down. Either way, it helps me to know if what I'm doing is helpful to you. And that's all that I do this for. Also, consider subscribing for more topics related to performing. I do new videos every week. Anyway, I hope that you were able to take something away, and I'll see you next time. Go in peace.